9:54 exactly. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. A presenter and my colleague here at Salaamedia, Inayet Wadee, is standing by to talk to us about the promotion of the Abeer Zayyad South African tour. Assalamu alaikum to you, dear brother Inayet Wadee. Welcome to the show. Always a pleasure talking with you.
Well, walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to you, Julie, and assalamu alaikum to all the listeners. And an absolute pleasure is we head towards the penultimate leg of the tour of the Abeer Zayyad campaign. Alhamdulillah, we are in the friendly city of Port Elizabeth, and I must say it is absolutely wonderful, gorgeous, beautiful weather, sunny skies, and just overlooking the ocean as well. So, Alhamdulillah, what better settings they are to have this tour. And I know they came through very, very tired from Cape Town. It was quite a hectic, I would say, an intense visit to Cape Town. But looking forward to PE today, where we've got a number of programs lined up, Julie.
Alhamdulillah. You say it's the penultimate leg of the tour, which is the last stop, and then when does she depart for home?
Tomorrow is the last stop. She is going to Nelspruit, and that is going to be a very short engagement out in Nelspruit. And she flies out on a Thursday evening. So sadly, it's come to an end. But I must say that until now, it's been just so wonderful. It's been very enlightening. It's been inspiring. And today in PE in particular, they've got a number of schools coming through together for the first time in where previously we visited individual schools, but this morning in Malabar and PE, they've called something like 4 or 5 schools together
Wow.
in a hall. So we've got a program at 11 a.m. Then we have a program at the university with the Muslim Students Association. And tonight at the South End Museum here in PE, it's going to be a public program. So another day, full programs we're going to have. But I must say, it's just wonderful being in PE, the hospitality, the people that have welcomed us here, part of the Young Hearts for Palestine. There's a few doctors, alhamdulillah, that have got involved as well, formerly from our part of the world, but playing a very, very wonderful and an active role as far as the Palestinian cause go. Many of them have visited Masjid al-Aqsa, so they identify and they've even met Abeer Zayyad while they were in Aqsa. So, we're looking forward to wonderful engagements once again this throughout the day, Julie.
Alhamdulillah. You know what strikes me now as you speak, Inayet, is I work here at Salaamedia. I'm here 3 days a week. And as you, have been unfolding this tour of Abeer Zayyad to me and the rest of the world, I kind of wonder at the thinking behind this tour. People like Shamshir Khan, who is the CEO of our company Salaamedia, Ponti Israel Molatsani, who is the COO. I also know that people like yourself and Appa Maryam Mia have been very involved, and a few other role players here at Salaamedia. We're a small team, but a very dynamic team. But when I look at how this was put together, when I look at the behind the scenes logistics, it blows my mind to think that 2 or 3 people worked very hard day and night to make this happen, to connect with all of the role players all around South Africa and make this a successful tour. So, hats off to one and all.
And also, I think, coming to a place like PE, Julie, this is our very first footprint in Port Elizabeth. And last night, while we were having supper, and this was a message that came out very, very strongly that the smallest cities are actually hungry for this type of engagement, for this level of engagement, for the type of guests that we have brought in Abeer Zayyad. And they look forward to it. And sometimes, we tend to focus a lot on the larger cities. And yes, we should, but we should not forget that right across the country, there are many, many people, and this is what has actually come out as well, that many people are basically hungry for the type of involvement that Salaamedia has, and also showcasing Salaamedia as a humanitarian journalism or humanitarian media organization, people, just want us to bring a lot more. In fact, as we were having breakfast right now, someone raised a question of Afia Siddiqui and Fawzia Siddiqui as to what is the latest development there. So what I'm
Wow.
saying is there's just so much that Salam Media can actually do. And I mentioned to him, I said, we report on Afia Siddiqui on a regular basis. He says,
Absolutely.
we don't know. We don't even know what's happening. We need to get regular updates. And I said, you need to follow Salam Media and we'll get you the updates.
Absolutely.
But, that's what I say is, this is, Alhamdulillah, a small team, but a dedicated team. And this, for me, stands out as far as Salam Media is concerned. It's not about numbers. It's not about how big you are. It's how committed you are, how dedicated you are, and how sincere you are in doing whatever you need to do, Julie.
When we met our guest Abeer Zayyad and his sister last Saturday evening, we were obviously, the team went out for a dinner to welcome them to South Africa. I was sitting there and reflecting and wondering just how long, when and how did the idea hit Shamshir and Ponty? And then, just in planning this trip, how much of time and logistics was involved in planning this trip? And I'm in absolute awe that Salam Media yet again, and it's not about a pat on the back. It's about recognizing all the hard work, the innovation, the foresight, etc. When planning things like this and making voices like this being heard in our part of the world. And that is what I'm accolading, not necessarily patting ourselves on the back. And I just think it's a huge undertaking and it's been pulled off very professionally, alhamdulillah.
Well, certainly, Julie, and it's not only about the program. It's not about going from place to place to go and just talk and come away. It's planning in more ways than one. The logistics alone, when I look at some of our colleagues, people like Abrar, people like Ibrahim SA, looking at Ponty in the background as well, the equipment that needs to be moved around. Yesterday, I saw it firsthand when they got on the plane and we met the plane that came out of Cape Town. And there was a lot of equipment and moving that equipment from one venue to the other, setting up so that we can bring out these broadcasts in the various platforms on the YouTube channels, on Facebook, on Instagram. So all of this takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort. And this is exactly what I mentioned to them this morning as well, that we need to get the equipment ready. And last night already, they were planning, getting everything ready. So we're ready to move this morning to the next venue and then to the next venue after that. So all of this needed to be coordinated for a tour like this. The speaking engagements are one thing, but behind the scenes also, Julie, a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of work goes.
Absolutely. Let's not forget the guys behind the scenes back at the studio who are holding the fort and still keeping the airways alive with all of the programming, our
Exactly.
production team,
Mm-hmm.
etc.
Right. Yes, Julie. Yeah. So as I said, we're looking forward to Alhamdulillah once again another wonderful day in PE, and yes, the team will be getting ready to leave very very shortly, and we'll be going off to Malabar, and I'm looking forward to this engagement once again with the schools.
Okay, I'm going to leave you guys there with much love, duas, and salams because we're now going to be talking with Tasneem Fredericks. She's a lawyer and an activist, and she's going to be talking in depth about the PE program, inshallah. So I'm so looking forward to that in a minute or two. You go well. Salams to everybody.
Wonderful you're talking about Tasneem Fredericks because I'm sitting with Tasneem's brother Maulana right now, actually.
Oh, my word.
So, Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Okay, so we'll be talking with her in a minute, inshallah.
Inshallah. Jazakallah for that, Julie, and wishing you all the best, inshallah, and looking forward to being back safe and sound in Johannesburg.
Ameen. Ameen, Ameen, Thumma Ameen. It is exactly 3 after 10 o'clock. Please stand by for our next interview, inshallah. 3 after 10 o'clock. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the program. Dear Sister Tasneem Fredericks, lawyer and activist based in PE, and I understand that you're going to share some in-depth information about the PE program. Welcome. Lovely talking with you.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Shukran so much for having me today and greetings to the listeners.
Okay, so what did you think about the Salaamedia tour to your part of the world with this amazing guest of ours, an activist, an archaeologist, and that, of course, is Sister Abeer Zayyad.
Oh, we were so excited when we heard that Salaamedia is making a stop in Port Elizabeth, or rather Gqeberha, as we now know.
Okay,
It's not a very popular stop for people to come and visit. So we're very excited and very blessed to have her come and see us. Um, the program is quite packed today. If I can just take you through that. So we're
please.
just having we're just having a breakfast at the moment with a few activists. We've got Young Hearts for Palestine, and we're just having a chat over breakfast with Sister Abeer. Just taking us into just the lives and the everyday lives of Palestinians and the experiences with particularly South Africans and people from the UK. And just also, emphasizing how visiting Palestine and visiting Jerusalem in particular is an act of solidarity that they would like to see from all South Africans, and obviously everywhere else in the world. But,
Tasneem, you,
start taking history.
Marv,
Yes.
you are an activist and you are a professional person. You are a lawyer by profession. How does Abeer's story impact on you as a human being, as a Muslim in South Africa, and as part of humanity as a whole?
Yeah, I was in Palestine during Ramadan for a week, and it was my first time. And just being in, we flew in through Ben Gurion Airport and experiencing that kind of oppression and fear that the Israeli, authorities or police exert over people that are not Israeli. So, and especially there was a lot of racial profiling coming through because I traveled with my brother and he was detained and questioned for several hours
Oh,
as
no.
example. And the strange thing to me is that as South Africa, we allow Israelis to come through Johannesburg or Cape Town or wherever they land, and they don't get this treatment. They
Mm,
don't get the same treatment that the Israeli government is perpetuating on South African citizens. So when you go through the, you've done nothing wrong, but you're just fearful. You just feel like any second now you could be arrested. And the beauty of the trip is obviously that the only place that's dangerous, most dangerous for people, or is Palestine, or rather is very dangerous to Palestinians. If you come from a different country, of course, if you're going to do something that's going to threaten or seemingly threaten Israeli authority or law, they will shoot you, they will kill you. They don't care which nationality you are.
mm,
But
mm.
they don't hesitate for Palestinians. So, I mean, for people to come to Palestine to know that it's not as dangerous as South Africa, for example. It's so crazy when people ask, is it unsafe to be, to visit Palestine? And I say, but we live in South Africa, where they kill you in every
Right.
4 hours. How much, that doesn't happen over there.
Okay.
I was just very
You think that the harassment of your brother was because we are people of color? Obviously, white people wouldn't be subjected to that type of treatment at the airports in Palestine and obviously in Israel.
Look, I think that there's definitely a lot of racial profiling. So if you are a male under 40 with a beard, that already is an indication to them that you are there for something other
Mm,
than, tourism. Because they do ask you, what is the purpose of your visit? And we said, look, it's a spiritual retreat. We obviously want to see Jerusalem. You know what not to say because you're in enemy territory. You don't go there and say
wow.
coming to visit
Okay.
Palestine in particular. Yeah.
Tasneem, did you share the story with Abeer and her sister, and what was their response? I guess they probably say to you that this is what we're subjected to on a daily basis.
Absolutely, and far worse, of course, far worse. I mean, the fact that we get harassed, but at least we gain entry to Al-Aqsa. I mean, there are millions of hundreds of thousands of Palestinians that can't even come to perform Jummah on a Friday, and we live right there in Jerusalem city. Yes, as we walk into the masjid, they'll say, "Where are you from?" So that's the famous question that the Israeli occupied forces will ask you as you walk by, And when you say you're from South Africa, they're like, "Oh, okay, fine, we'll go." I'm not sure, what. Another question I like asking is, what's your father's name? So the line of questioning as well at the airport and wherever you go, it's not really, it doesn't doesn't make any sense. I think we give the Israeli occupied forces too much, we give them too much credit. They're actually very unintelligent for,
Okay. Okay.
whatever.
Well, when you think about it, Tasneem, they take these young people, age of 18. What life experience have they had? And they get conscripted into the army, and they meant to be then dealing with, dealing with the Palestinians and other people coming to that part of the world. 18-year-olds, and then that is why we have all of these random killings there of innocent men, women, and children in Palestine. Be that as it may, Tasneem, what are you expecting for the rest of the day with the Abeer Zayyad visit to your part of the world?
So today they'll be leaving soon and going to Hulop Secondary School in Malabar, where other schools will be joining, and she'll be addressing learners at the schools. I think it's high schools, grades 9 and 10. And then after that, there'll be a session at the university with the MSA, and that's 12:30, I think, to 1:30. And then I think they'll have a lunch break, and then 3 to 4 there's an interview at IFM. And then at 6:00, the event at the Southern Museum, which is also quite historical because, as the Southern Museum, it's the same like District 6. And we also, deal with forced removals, just like exactly, what's happening to the Palestinians, happened to Black South Africans, during apartheid. So that's a nice interface.
Okay. At the end of all of this, you've been to Palestine recently. You got a first-hand account of what a Palestinian's daily life is. And I guess listening to Abeer's talks, you're going to get further insight into the everyday lives of Palestinian people. How is that, impacting on you? And how you thinking now, or will be thinking differently about not only the Palestinian situation, but marginalized societies all around the world?
Yeah, the important thing for me that Abeer flagged this morning in our discussions was the importance of Jerusalem and the liberation of Jerusalem. And she was saying that specifically South Africans do not focus on the liberation of Jerusalem or supporting the liberation of Jerusalem, but more the West Bank and Gaza, for example. So I think, to empower organizations like Abeer's and other organizations within Jerusalem, if we can move our focus to supporting those organizations so that, they can actually, have the autonomy to lead their own liberation. I think that's very important.
Why do you think, my final question to you, why do you think, Tasneem, that our focus has never been on Jerusalem and rather on the West Bank and other parts of Palestine?
I think the knee-jerk reaction from a humanitarian perspective is humanitarian response. So when you hear people are being bombed and they don't have basic requirements to live, food, clothing, shelter, you want to help. And I'm not saying that's not important. But I think, we just keep thinking in that way. And to just say, well, we can do that, but what more can we do that's going to allow these people to, we don't want the cycle of donations forever. You want Palestine to be free, and you want that freedom to be led by the Palestinians themselves. Just a small indication, my brother was at the table and he was talking about, how I was shopping all the time when I was in the city. And I said, to me, that's an expression of solidarity. And it's for me, it's Palestinian economic empowerment. You give people money so that they can help themselves, so that you don't have this kind of beggar bowl mentality where you think you need to, just donate the whole time. So I think that's also an important role that we can play.
Inshallah. Your final thoughts for our listeners this morning before I let you go, inshallah?
I think to me, it would always say visit Palestine. You know, if everybody that's out there has an opportunity and are able to, if they can visit Palestine, it's the most amazing experience, and it will be contributing towards the liberation of Palestine, in my view.
Tasneem Fredericks, activist and lawyer, talking to us this morning from Port Elizabeth, where obviously she is with Abeer Zayyad and the rest of the Salaamedia team. And I should imagine a few other local visitors that are there to have breakfast with Abeer Zayyad and the rest of the party. Lovely talking with you. You go well. Keep us in your duas, and salam alaikum to you.
Walaikum salam. Shukran.
It is exactly 10:15 wrap-up time here on News and Views. Thank you indeed to you, Abdul Salam, behind the controls, and Nasreen Naidu, the producer, who was responsible for putting together the show. All I can say is well done. Till tomorrow morning at the same time as always, take care on the roads. And looking forward to chatting with you guys once again. Assalamu alaikum and Khudafiz from me, Julie Ali.